Instead, "Here," she said, like she was offering a gift. I unfolded it. $1. Oh, my sister smirked. "You're our ATM." The table erupted in laughter, forks against plates, wine glasses clinking. They stood there, their punchline, their payob in flesh and blood. I tore Thebel in half, then into quarters. I let pieces fall on the tablecloth like confetti. No one laughed after that. I walked out in silence. 3 months later, the bank called me. That's when everything turned. It hadn't always been this way. Growing up, I believed infamily dinners, birthday cakes, holiday spant, shoulder to shoulder. My father worked hard. My mother stretched every dollar. My sister and I were supposed to be a team. But somewhere along the line, I stopped buying their son, their brother. I became a theater provider. When I landed my first big job, I picked up the check at Trust Torrance. When I bought my first car, they borrowed it until it felt less like mine. Every success became theirs to consume. And when I struggled, their support evaporated. Love had strings tied to my bank account. The ATM joke wasn't new. It had been whispered behind my back, slipped into conversations, excused Ashumore. But after that night, my parents and oversee dinner without me. The looter ringing in my ears, I started seeing the pattern clearly. Every visit tended with a bill, my sister's emergencies, my parents' debts. None of it repaid, none of it acknowledged. I was a ledger, not a person. And then came the bank call. "Sir," the manager said, "we've noticed several attempts to axe your account. Large withdrawals, requested under your family's names." They hadn't even bothered to ask me anymore. They were trying to steal. That was the moment I stopped being their ATM. That was the moment I became their reckoning. I didn't confront them. Confrontation would only feed their narrative that I was cruel for holding back what was theirs. Instead, I planned it quietly, methodically. I met with Thebank in person, froze joint accounts, removed their names from anything grommetly tied to mine, flagged suspicious activity, so every attempt left a traceable mark. Then I went further. I combed through years of loan sand gifts. I documented every transfer, every message asking for money, every signature they'd scribbled on temporary agreements. It wasn't petty bookkeeping. It was evidence. And when the time came, I was ready to cash in. It happened at me sister's birthday party, a grand event funded, ironically, by the very money she thought she could siphon from. The whole family gathered, clinking glasses, praising themselves for their unity. I arrived with a folder, no apt gift, no smile. When the candles were blown out and the lights dimmed, I stood and spoke. My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. For years I said, "You've treated me like a wallet, not Apperson. You've taken without asking, demanded without shame. 3 months ago, you tried to empty my account behind my back." The room stilled. Nervously, he's joking. I open folder. Copies of bank requests, flagged fraud attempts, their signatures in black and white. Gasps rippled, face drained of color. "This," I said, "is what family theft looks like." My father slammed a fist on the table. "Where your blood?" I held his stare. Blood does an excused betrayal. My mother reached Fahm, her voice breaking. "We needed help." "You had my help. I cut in and you spat in it. You mocked me. You made me a joke heat. My own parents' anniversary." I pulled its final paper from the folder. An affidavit. "The bank has everything tuned in. If you try again, this becomes criminal. Fraud charges, identity theft, jail time." My sister's glass slipped from her hand, shattering in the floor. She whispered, "Ya wouldn't." I leaned forward, calm, certain. "Try me." I left the folder on the table and walked out just like I had 3 months earlier. But this time, the silence behind me wasn't laughter. It was fear. Since that night, the Calshave stopped. No more emergencies, no more bills slipped into my hand. My phone is quiet, and my wallet is mine. Sometimes I wonder if they sit together, whispering about me, resenting me. Maybe they do. But villains don't bleed themselves. Dry for people who never cared. Villains don't keep paying for loyalty that doesn't exist. What I did wasn't cruelty. It was survival. It wanted an ATM. Instead, they got a wealth he could never climb.